Just waiting for a few of you to join me. Those that have just clicked on this video from the timeline from before, I'm going to talk tonight about beliefs, because there's something that trouble the world, I think. And when guys come and join me in a minute, I'm going to ask what they think about it, see if we get some other input here. And yeah, beliefs. Isn't it one of the most problematic things of all when you think about it? People have beliefs. What do we mean by that? Hi Janie, I'm just starting. How you doing? We're just waiting for a few people to come online. I'm just saying my talk tonight's going to be about belief systems and beliefs and how problematic those things can be in all realms of life. So any questions on that you think of later on? Let's do that. Hi guys, I see you coming in now. Okay, I'm going to be talking tonight about beliefs and belief systems and all the problems that it brings. I'll just let a few more come online before I start off fully, because hi guys, all right, see you. Hi James. Right, I'm going to start talking and I'll have to probably recap part way through as new people join us. So I'm talking about beliefs because when you think about it, it seems like today, if you have a belief in something, that kind of overrides common sense, you know? I was having a chat with having a chat with a client that came to see Jane today, and we were talking about beliefs and how people get lost in it. And she said, one of the things I like about your chats is that you kind of try to stop people sort of following the same path all the time, you know, saying I'm a Buddhist or I'm a Hindu or I'm a Christian or whatever, you know. And I thought, well, let's just talk about beliefs a little bit and see what some of you guys might think about it as well as I talk about it. Because, you know, if you think that the whole of everything we do everywhere is riddled with this idea of a belief, and a belief kind of says that what I understand is more important than what you understand, whether there's evidence for it or not, you know. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, psychic stuff's a load of nonsense because it's a belief. You know, they say that religion's a lot of nonsense because it's a belief. It's like because you believe it, it doesn't mean it's true, does it? It doesn't mean that if we believe that something happens, that it's true. You know, I can believe, for example, one of the things is I can believe there's a chocolate teapot circling the earth, right? But no matter how much I believe it, it's not true. And I can believe in Father Christmas, and, you know, no matter how much I believe in it, it's not true. Now, there's a bit more of an argument to that, because maybe our thoughts do create new realities. But just because we say something or something we believe something, it doesn't mean it's true, does it? I mean, with my work in particular, I get on, particularly on my YouTube channel, I get a lot of people typing on there, you know, Christian stuff, that you guys must not do this because this bit in the Bible here says that all mediums are evil, or this bit here says you mustn't tell fortunes, and another bit here, and they really feel that because it's written in a book, you know, that was written a long time ago by authors who we have no idea who half the authors are. All we know, there's a multiple number of authors that have written it. We know even the words of Jesus. We don't know if any of those are true. The only ones that seem to be true is like they reckon that the Sermon on the Mount is the actual words of Jesus, and a few other bits of the actual words of Jesus. But when you compare all of the Gospels, they all tell the story in different ways, and they quote Jesus in different ways. I'm just talking about Christianity at the moment, but this is one lot that seem to say that because I believe this to be true, therefore you mustn't do this, and everybody else must conform to this belief system because I've read this book from long ago, right? Now, I'm not knocking here the fact that, you know, there's a great man in the past called Jesus who gave us a great teaching, but I don't see why someone should point to a book and say you should or shouldn't do this because it's written here. And it's exactly the same with the fanatics of Islam. They'll wave a different look at us as from the same sort of traditions, because I mean that in the Quran it talks about Jesus in the Quran, it talks about Abraham in the Quran, it talks about Mary in the Quran, all these other stories, who now say, no, you can't do this because it's written in my book, right? And the same with all the religions too. You know, we look at every single religion. You get a lot of fanatic Buddhists too. They're supposed to be tolerant as well, but again, they get closed minds about how you should do this, and that all of them seem to be against mediums. You know, it's as if we're the lot that you can chuck out of every religion. You know, and the same thing too applies to like even in Hinduism. You know, I mean, there's groups there that can be very closed-minded. You know, so on a religious level, we have all these belief systems that, frankly, are keeping us away from spirituality, don't you think? You know, because these are all doctrines, like you say, Janie. They're all well, doctrines, I suppose, is the word. The belief systems, you know, is awful. You know, even spiritualism, that is supposed to have no belief system, is supposed to be a universal religion that's open to all, sooner or later has fallen into the same old traps of belief systems. Like, you know, if I speak on a spiritualist platform in the past, I wasn't allowed to talk about reincarnation. Well, why is that? Oh, because there's not any proof of it. Well, there's as much proof of reincarnation as there is life after death, in my opinion. Why can't I talk about this? You know, so even there, where it's supposed to be open and tolerant to all religions, you know, we get these belief systems, you know, and belief systems that, you know, cause wars. You know, I mean, politics is belief systems too, isn't it? Really, I mean, people will battle and argue over a political point just to win the battle. And we end up with people talking about, I'm on the right or I'm on the left. Just a minute, can't we all be somewhere in between where we try to find what the truth of the matter is, instead of battling and battling and battling, and ended up in real wars where we say, oh, yeah, my ideas are right, my nation's right, you know. We do it with politics. So religion, politics, they say don't talk about things like that, because you'll always find that everybody ends up in arguments, you know. And so in my opinion, beliefs are very dangerous. Now, the hard-nosed sort of materialist who believes only in science will come and say, well, all of this is belief systems, all of this is rubbish, because, you know, anything we can't prove with science is obviously a load of nonsense, you know. It's just hocus pocus because I can prove it all with my science, right? But think about it. Science is also a belief system, because they believe that the material world is the answer. It's the only thing that can exist is the material world. You know, there's only the material world. And therefore, unless we can prove it, unless we can prove mediumship with all the same measuring tools that measure everything else, then it's bunkum. Well, I'm afraid science is a belief system too, because, you know, when you've had the inner experiences that come with deep meditation, or you've had the experiences where you've been given absolute proof of life after death through a medium, for example, and maybe even you've taken a hallucinogenic like LSD, you see the world as a completely different thing to what you ever thought it was. You begin to realize that reality is not quite what we thought it was. You know, it's not this earth and that's the end of it. So actually, even the scientists are in a belief system. Their belief system says, this is the material world, that's it. And when we look at the spiritual life, really, what's happening there, you know? I mean, science can't reach into the spiritual world. It can't analyze and work out what goes on with consciousness or what happens after death and things like that, because they don't have the measuring tools. It can't be measured in a material way. I mean, what we do spiritually, and I'm not talking about religion so much now here, but I'm talking about something different to religion, which is like spirituality, a personal, direct spirituality. That, I believe, takes over where science leaves off. Science can take us so far in understanding the universe, and then we have to take a spiritual insight to understand the rest you know, consciousness and the rest, and multiple universes, and the ability to put our mind in spaces that science can't reach. So again, we're trapped a bit by science, just as we're trapped by religion. We're trapped in this idea that everything has to be like this. We all like to understand everything in little boxes. You know, this is the answer. Now you don't have to think anymore, because that's the answer. No thinking, there it is, that's the answer. It's religion, it's science, it's whatever, you know. So I don't have to think, someone's answered it for me. I don't actually have to do the work and have the experience myself, you know. That's where belief is really killing us. It kills us, it kills the whole soul, because we've relied on someone else's opinion to give us the answers to the universe, and we just carry on as normal in our ignorance, right? So I do, Jenny says, I believe a lot. Yeah, actually, this is always a trap, actually, when you're talking about beliefs, because I'm talking from, I believe this to be so, yeah, it's a bit of a trap. But if you understand what I'm saying here, and that's funny, I think, that, Janie, but it's true, because beliefs are kind of, like you say there, a brainwashing thing. We self-brainwash ourselves. We put ourselves into a limited way of seeing things. And people do it with knowledge too, don't they? You know, if you read a lot of books, it's fantastic, because you can open your mind to all sorts of things. But if you read too much and all you do is read and you don't experience, you can come again fossilized in a way as well, because you've tried to put everything in these little boxes. Like, you've tried to rationalize everything into these little boxes, so we can feel secure in ourselves, because we know all this knowledge and it all makes sense to us now. But of course it doesn't, because if you do go on a spiritual path, you find everything you know is chucked out the window, the whole lot. You have to rethink it again, and then you have new spiritual experiences. You think, now I understand. And you realize you don't understand a bloody thing. You've got to start all over again and throw all that out. Because all the time, as we learn one experience after another, and I'm talking about inner experiences in here, when we come to these states of consciousness, the higher states of consciousness, we realize that everything we thought we knew is not true. You know, all of us, you know, we think we know it all, and then bang, we suddenly realize that, you know, we don't understand. In fact, the way to understand has to come through, really through innocence rather than experience. It comes through just being and knowing and realization, right? And that's way, way past all those ideas that we can have a belief that will take us there. We have to realize it. We have to not just think it through. We have to chuck the brain out. We have to chuck the mind out and know it to be true, you know? And each of us can do that, because we can do that in things like meditation. We can do that in observation of our ordinary life. It's not, we don't all become enlightened beings just when we're sat in meditation. What's the point? We've all got to be aware, self-aware, all of the time, every moment of the day, even in the most mundane things, because that is a realized experience. That's when we sometimes get, for example, have you ever had that sort of like oceanic experience? You know, it's like comes out of the blue sometimes, where you suddenly have a feeling you just know. And I think everybody gets this sometimes. You know, this isn't just the stuff for the enlightened beings. This is something everybody feels some point in their life. It's like, wow, you know, I just know it. I know, and it's gone. Because it's like our mind is hooked onto that realization, that self-realization, unconsciously for a few moments, and we've lost it again. We haven't had full conscious realization. We've had it some of the time. And I think that happens to a lot of people. Even as a child, it can happen to you. So these belief systems are very powerful things. And, you know, you think about it too. I've had a go at religion. I've had a go at science. But why not also have a go at the New Age, Craig? Because when we look at some of the belief systems that people have, which are completely unsubstantiated, we end up in some very sticky ground. Someone asked me today, so I said something in one of my predictions about I feel there'd be a moon base built, you know. He said, yes, of course. What they will reveal from what you're obviously seeing, Craig, is that they've got a secret base on the dark side of the moon, right? That nobody's told about us about. I thought, yeah, here we go. This is those conspiracy theories, because most of these conspiracy theories are just belief systems gone wild. You know, we don't know what's on the dark side of the moon. and it's away from our view, therefore our fantasy can fill it in with all sorts of nonsense, you know. And you apply that rule to just about every single conspiracy theory out there. That, you know, they're doing special things to us. These people, these secret organizations are doing all these strange things, you know. And of course, our mind can throw in all sorts of rubbish, you know. And it's only belief. It's only stuff we've conned ourselves into thinking, you know. And, you know, beliefs are very powerful forces. They can kill us, because I really strongly feel, I won't say that word believe, but I really strongly feel that if we think ill, we get ill. If we think healthy, we become healthy. It's one of the keys to spiritual healing. You know, if you're doing spiritual healing on somebody, you don't think, oh, this poor person's got cancer, and you think all cancer thoughts and dark thoughts about how horrible it is rotting their body. No, you think this person's getting well, and you see and visualize them getting better, and the cancer going, and new life and health coming to that person. So, you know, what we do with healing is we're using the power of our prana, but we're projecting it in a positive way with positive belief for healing and getting better. We're positively projecting wellness through our thoughts. This comes into Reiki a lot as well, doesn't it? You know, so how we think when we do healing is very important. How we think all the time is very important, because if we think bad things are going to come our way, you know, if we think, oh, more trouble ahead, you know, I've had some problems this week, it's going to be the same again, people are always like this, it's going to happen again, mark my words, it will, because you attract it, you attract it, you attract it, you know. So you think negative things come to you. And if you say negative things to other people, it can project negative things to them, you know. You know, Jane's mum is a great one for this. If you've got the slightest illness, you know, it's something terrible, right? Oh, I've got a headache. Oh, it could be a brain tumor. Oh, no, it's not. No. Oh, I've got tummy ache. Oh, it could be ulcers. And then, you know, whatever it is, she always gives you the worst possible scenario, you know. So, you know, that's powerful stuff. That is witchery. And I tell her off for it. I say, don't you dare, Joan, don't you dare say things like that, because by sending a negative thought to someone, you're going to implant it in my unconscious mind, and I'm going to start thinking negative things, and I'm going to start thinking, oh, maybe it could be, maybe, and you've set the seeds for bad things in your life. So you've got to wipe that. You've got to take all of that away, and, you know that we can be in perfect health. Because, you know, if we can strip away all these belief systems, if we get the like I see, so you're talking here about positivity will help us, someone saying there, yeah, absolutely. You know, if we can strip away the negative thinking in our lives, we come to what we really are. You see, if we can get away from what we think we should be and what we think the world should be, and the way we think everything should be, if we could get to the point of being able to see things as they are. Now that's really difficult, because we've cloaked ourselves in all this rubbish, right? But if we can see things as they are, we'll get a really true understanding of existence. We only have to see it as it is. And that includes ourself. Can we see ourselves as we are, you know? You know, without thought, without emotion, without thinking I'm this person, I'm that person, I'm a good person or I'm a bad person, I'm an artist or I'm a soldier or I'm a whatever. All those masks we wear, we drop all those and see ourselves exactly as we are, without fears, without worries, without thoughts, just self-observation. Tremendously powerful, because that idea strips right through belief systems, and all it's asking us to be is to be aware of what we really are. You know, I'm not that, let that go, no, I'm not that, and just keep observing oneself. And what you find in the end, and you'll have to find this out for yourself, because I can't tell you, but what a lot of people tell us, and what I believe, I'm not saying that word, but what I've observed is that we're God. We're the absolute. We are divinity itself. We are infinity. We are everything that is, ever will be, and ever has been. You know, we've the whole lot, you know, and that's just by simple self-observation. So to conclude, really, what we must do, I feel, is stop thinking in terms of that a belief system of any sort, whether they're made up by other religions, whether they're made up by science, whether they're made up by other people, or we make them up ourselves, you know, if we can strip ourselves and break through all that belief of what we should be, what we could be, what we ought to be, and just be what we are, then instead of relying on beliefs to put us through life, we rely on direct experience. We have direct experience. So if a Buddha comes up in your meditations and says, this is the way, get a big stick and knock him down. If you see Jesus come up and say, this is the way, my son, knock him down, until you understand directly what the truth is. Without listening to crap from anybody, including me, you've got to do it yourself. Personal self-experience to understand who we really are. And that's where beliefs are such a dangerous, dangerous thing. They trip us up every time. So it's my belief we should get rid of these beliefs. And then we'd be our natural state, happy people, awake people, aware people, enlightened people. So there you go. That's my talk. So I hope you liked that. I see we had quite a few comments there. So I think the screen's frozen up now because we've got quite a few comments, but there you go. That's my talk for tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm off now to watch a television program on Channel 4 called The Circle, right? Now, if you watch that, you'll see, imagine what it would be like if me and Jane were on there, right? Because we were shortlisted for that program and asked to go on it. And things didn't work quite out in the end. One thing being we got a holiday coming up. But yeah, I'm going to go and watch that again and think and cringe at the thought, how would Jane and I have managed that? You know, it's a program, but it's a new Big Brother, right? And we were invited on Big Brother before as well, twice. But anyway, see you next time. And yeah, thanks for joining me. Check out our website for more stuff. You can book psychic readings with us and find out about our public events, or watch our fantastic movie called Mystic Journey to India. It's a mind-boggling adventure that's now showing on Amazon Prime. And if you want to learn more, you can find out about my books and courses. Check out Messages from the Universe that reveals the ancient secrets of existence, or read my book called Psychic School to discover and enhance your own psychic skills. Or how about What to Do When You're Dead, my book about the afterlife and what it's like. All this plus lots more, lots of new articles and videos, all on my fascinating website.